We're now going to focus on some basic macroeconomic relationships so that we can further our analysis in our aggregate expenditure model of GDP. The first relationship you should have seen already, it's how consumption is related to income. Income is the greatest determinant of consumption and saving within a household. You've seen this graphically already in the beginning part of our microeconomic course. We might have an equation where C is equal to 50 plus 0.5y. This is saying that consumption is directly, positively related to income. Our 50 value here says that if our income is 0, we're still going to spend 50 units of the currency on consumables. So that is our intercept, 50. We're then going to have a line going upwards where the slope is equal to 0.5. But the slope is also equal to something that's extremely important. It's called the marginal propensity to consume. The marginal propensity to consume illustrates how much we are going to consume given our income increases by 1 unit. So if our income, Y, increases by 1 unit, we're going to increase consumption by 0.5 units. And that is what the MPC represents. So C is equal to A plus BY, where A is your autonomous consumption. By autonomous, it means that that's the consumption no matter what the level of income. So this is income, Y, and that is consumption. So no matter what the level of income, consumption is going to equal 50. And then as income begins to increase, consumption will increase by 0.5 for every unit increase in Y. This is termed the consumption schedule or the consumption function. There are some terms you do need to know. The average consumption is equal to consumption over Y. And in the same way, average saving is equal to savings over Y. Now we can also make a savings function. C is equal to A plus BY is our consumption function. If you move across, we're going to find our savings function. S is equal to minus A plus 1 minus B, Y. So you can notice that minus A, that's how much you dis-save when income is 0. So you could have dis-saving over here, and this will be your savings function, where the slope is equal to your marginal propensity to save. Your marginal propensity to save is this value here. Notice that this value is 1 minus B, and that value is B. So the marginal propensity to consume plus the marginal propensity to save must be equal to 1. That makes sense. If you increase your income by 1 unit, and you can either consume your income or save your income, you're going to, in this case, consume 0.5 and save 0.5 as well. So whatever you don't consume out of that 1 unit of income that you've increased your income with, whatever you don't consume, you will save. So your marginal propensity to save is just 1 minus your marginal propensity to consume. Take note that this income is disposable income. So this is income after taxes. Also note that at any point on this consumption function, if you move from a point such as there to there, it's only a result from an increase in your disposable income, your income after taxes. So a shift on points along the consumption function will only result as a change in disposable income. You can have other changes in the consumption function where it can shift up or it can shift down. Those sort of changes can be wealth effects. Wealth effects occur when you increase the amount of wealth you have according to, say, you own a house and the price of the house increases. That increases your overall wealth. If you own shares and the share price increases, that will increase your overall wealth as well. If you have positive wealth effects, it will shift this consumption function upwards. So that every value of disposable income, you're going to consume more. Another factor that can shift the consumption function is expectations. If you expect that prices are going to increase by a large margin in the next 6 months or so, you are going to purchase those goods now. So an increase in your expectation for increased prices will also shift the consumption function upwards. If the real interest rate changes, it will also change your consumption function. The real interest rate, if that decreases, then your cost of borrowing will be lower. If the real interest rate decreases, the payments that you have to pay for your house or for your car, those payments will decrease, and so you'll be left with a greater amount of disposable income. So if the real interest rate decreases, it will also shift the consumption function up. In all of these cases where I've shown that the consumption function shifts up, in the same vein, the savings function must shift down. If the real interest rate decreases, you can borrow more, so you can consume more, and you will save less. If you have an increase in wealth effects, you will consume more and save less. All those factors shift them both in opposite directions. If you have an increase in household debt, that can result in two types of circumstances. If you increase household debt, that means you've borrowed more, so you're able to consume more, so it might shift the consumption function upwards. But also, you might have borrowed too much, and so now you're worried about debt, and so you might consume less, and it might shift the consumption function downwards.